Hello, everybody. All right. Well,
There we go.
welcome to the Mikestand, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's had a good weekend. Hopefully, you guys caught some of the show last night. Um, so before we do get in, we'll get into things in a few minutes here. We're just gonna wait, give people a chance to come in. So Rick, as I was saying before I cut you off to go live, all you got to do is open up a separate tab and then just go to YouTube and then just
Yeah,
type
yeah.
in the just type in the
That's
mic
what.
stand. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. But I was hoping to find it. Well, I was hoping just to find it on the home page, if you will. Just go to
Mhm.
YouTube. But once you started, I refreshed and it showed. So that's what I was just waiting for. So
Okay.
I've got it open in another tab.
Okay.
I just didn't want to go, to the mic stand directly, like your home page on YouTube for where you list all your
Well,
videos.
again, I make my titles pretty simple. All you got to do, it's like the mic stand and all the space mic stand, all caps, space
Yeah,
hyphen space, and then the date.
yeah. Well, the thing is, I was finding the mic stand for tomorrow on my home. My like you go to YouTube and you see all the videos that are it offers. I was seeing the mic stand for tomorrow. I was seeing the mic stand for Wednesday. I was seeing the mic stand for Thursday. I just wasn't seeing the mic stand for today. It's like, really? You show me every day but today. The one that's happening like 2 minutes, you're not going to show me. The one
It
that's
may
30
just be
seconds away.
the YouTube's transitioning to the fact that it's going live. That's probably just what it is.
Yeah.
That's
But once it went live, I knew it would show it to me. So, it's like, okay, be
yeah.
that
All
way,
right.
YouTube.
So with that, then we do have three people in here now. So before we do get going on everything, and before I talk about what's on top for tonight, Rick, would you like to do an intro?
I guess so. Well, my intro is just go check out my channel. I should probably grab a link for that. Yeah, go check out my channel here on YouTube. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. Here comes a link in the next second or two for that. If you guys want to do that, there we go. There we go. There's the link for anybody who wants to come look on YouTube for my channel. It's fairly simple. So,
All right, all
and
right,
just
Rick.
like, subscribe, and watch.
Yeah.
But probably after this would be a good time to do that.
Um. Anything else you want to add before we move on?
Nothing I can think of at this time.
All right. Let me just take care of something here. All right. So with that, okay. So here's what's on tap for tonight, guys. I do have three articles, or three stories we're gonna go over. Two articles and kind of just an offshoot. And the reason we got three of them tonight because all probably gonna be pretty short, and then of course the rest of the wrap up. So first off, we're gonna go over to Bounding in the Comics. We're gonna look at some stuff going on in Aniplex as Aniplex announces Puella Magi Madoka Magica, the movie, Walpurgis Nacht Rising, now delayed to 2025. Then we'll be heading over to Bleeding Full to talk about Warner Brothers shutting down the Cartoon Network website. And then, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about, give you an update on what's going on with Toonami, as there's quite a bit of stuff going on. Of course, they'll be wrapping up the Naruto Shippuden showings as they're getting the final of the episodes. The last two episodes will be coming out over the next couple weeks, and in September, they'll be making some slight schedule. As some of you may know, Rick and Morty anime just debuted this past weekend. So, but right now it would appear, based on what I've been seeing on that, there's not really. I guess they're not. They don't have. I guess they're not. They're either not in negotiations for bringing in any new titles, or because they're just going to be continuing to repeat stuff. So, anyways, but with that, we'll talk a little bit about that later. Of course, then we have the wrestling wrap up, and then this day in each history. So, with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started? So let me hit up the first article here. Grab that. All right, so here we go with that one. There's the article. Let's get into this. Aniplex announces Puella Magi Madoka Magica, the movie, Walpurgisnacht Rising, now delayed to 2025. So, article by Nergans Inc. published back on August 16th, which of course was last Friday. So let's get
why do I think this is a good idea? Because I don't even recognize anything about that movie.
What was that?
I said, why do I think this is a good idea? Is this like a manga or something? Unless it's a manga.
Yeah, Puella Magi Madoka Magica is a manga / anime series. Kind of a surreal one. I've seen the anime series before. This one's the movie, I guess.
Okay.
Aniplex, of course, is known for distributing a number of different titles, including like Full Metal Alchemist. So, anyways, let's get into this. So, Aniplex announced that the next entry to the beloved Puella Magi Madoka Magica film franchise and the long-awaited sequel to 2013's Puella Magi Madoka Magica, the movie Part 3, Rebellion, Puella Magi Madoka Magica, the movie Walpurgis no Kaiten, has been postponed to 2025. I'm kind of wondering why. I guess the $1 million there is why is it being delayed?
Yeah, and we have Dead Sea Pirate in the chat saying Michael Angels died 4 years ago. Okay, I'm not sure who that is offhand, but that's something more to mention during.
I don't know who Michael Angels is, but I do know that on the 31st of this month, 5 years ago, Michael Lindsay, who's a voice actor, who was a dub voice actor, passed away. He was the original English voice for for the English dubs of Kankuro in the Naruto dub before and then Kike Uehara but that's not his death didn't happen until the 31st. So, but I don't know who Michael Angelus is. So, but so I guess I can go take a quick peek just to see if maybe Wiki has something on it.
Yeah, and he did die 4 years ago too. So, and the question is, did he die 4 years ago today or?
Oh, he was an English. So Michael his full name is Nicholas Michael Angelus. He was an English actor. Passed away on May 30th, 4 years ago. Based on this, he was, I guess, 76 years old. So basically, he was apparently on the UK. He was a UK narrator for Thomas and Friends when they were on the British side of things. So, um,
Cool.
so yeah. So, anyways,
I take it he means tank Thomas the Tank Engine.
yeah. Well, that's what I would think. So, all right. So, anyways, back to the article here. On August 16th, per the film's official website, the Puella Magi Madoka Magica Walpurgis Nacht Rising production committee notified fans that the highly anticipated fourth installment of the Puella Magi Madoka Magica film franchise will be delayed from its initial winter 2024 release to winter 2025. So I'm guessing it means that they're like pushing it back a full year, because when they say winter, then winter 2024, which would have meant starting in like December. Um,
Yeah, maybe
uh,
November.
yeah, but based it winter 2025. I mean, winter 20 based on their release schedules, because they usually do it in January. So, well, actually, well, yeah, maybe it was, maybe maybe it's what they're talking about is initially it was, well, okay. Anyways, could be a full year, but anyways, quote, due to production reasons, the scheduled release date of Puella Magi Madoka Magica, the movie, Walpurgis Rising, um, has been changed as follows: winter 2024 to winter 2025. We sincerely apologize to those who have been looking forward to so it was coming up this winter season, but I guess they're pushing it back to next winter season. Forward to the release of this film. We will continue to work on the production in order to deliver an even better film. Thank you for your understanding. Translated by a Deepel. Produced by Aniplex, animated by Studio Shaft, um, and helmed by Magia Record Puella Magi Madoka Magica side story director Yukihiro Miyamoto. Puella Magi Madoka Magica the movie, Walpurgis Nacht Rising, sees the return of the franchise's chief director Akiyuki Simbo. Who also worked on March, comes in like a lion. Fate Zero creator Gen Urabuchi, penning the script, and features original character designs from Hidamari sketch creator Ume Aoki. Try saying those 3 times fast.
No, thank you.
I'm joking, of course.
Yeah,
That would be quite a tongue twister. I mean, even doing it normal speed, like I'm trying to do it, it's a bit of a tongue twister at times. So, let's see. Aniplex will unveil additional information about Magia Record Puella Magi Madoka Magica Walpurgisnacht Rising at Aniplex Online Fest 2024, which will stream live on YouTube September 16th. So a few weeks away there. And as I said, that was these articles are going to be pretty quick tonight, more or less.
yeah. At least that first one was.
Oh,
We can just go.
the next one's gonna be quick, maybe even quicker. I'm getting ready to move on to the next one since I grab that. Since I get down to that. There we go. There's what we're looking for. All right. So, Warner Brothers Discovery shuts down Cartoon Network website. Article by Avi Green, published August 19th, which is today, 2024. And of course, you see if you're seeing the thing there, you're seeing some of the material that's usually on Cartoon Network, as it were.
It's our favorite author, our favorite columnist. I'm not sure what you want to call him.
Well, reporter. You see reporter. There's a guy from Gumball, Cyborg when Teen Titans Go, and then of course Tom and Jerry from the latest. So, and then here they Cartoon Network stream Cartoon Network on Max. Looking for episodes of your favorite Cartoon Network shows? Check out what's available to stream on Max. Subscription required. Sign up for Max, where you can also create a kids profile with ratings restrictions and additional privacy precautions. To keep it fun and kid friendly, cable subscribers continue to watch Cartoon Network on your TV and connected apps as well. So and now this is obviously so. According to Forbes, it looks like the once famous Cartoon Network no longer has a site of its own, and that's been kind of going. It does seem like Cartoon Network. I mean, they did it with Boomerang too recently, where they were shutting down the website, and you can still watch them on the TVs and stuff. But this is from the Forbes article right here. In another cost-cutting initiative, Warner Brothers Discovery said they would be shutting down the website of the Cartoon Network. The announcement came in the aftermath of the WBD announcing in their quarterly earnings report they are taking a $9.1 billion write-down with their legacy television unit.
Ouch.
Go ahead, Rick.
I just said ouch. 9.1 billion. That's a fair amount of money for a TV company.
Over the past several years, cable networks have been losing revenue with a loss in carriage fees from cord cutting, resulting in a drop in subscribers and ratings. Basically, what I'm thinking here, what they're talking about is as people move more to the idea of streaming, cable's losing money because of that.
Yeah, but I can't see their websites making them lose that money. The thing is, why? Yeah, they could be losing because of streaming money, but the question is why? Are people watching these shows on streaming? That's what they have to find out. It's why are they're losing money?
All right. Well, let's continue on with that is the $1 million question, though. A visit to the Cartoon Network site reads, quote, looking for episodes of your favorite. So we just read all that. The message also noted existing cable subscribers can use the connected apps as well as watching programs on television. So basically, meaning that the station itself, I mean, if you have DirecTV or cable, whatever, you still can get it through there too. But besides their app, the Cartoon Network content can be accessed on such social media websites as YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, as well as on connected TV devices, including Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon. At present, the Cartoon Network cable channel is currently available in less than half of the U.S., compared to 87% in 2011 TV homes.
Oh, wow.
So, wow, that is a bit of a drop off. The cable network televised content daily from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Warner Brothers WBD's Adult Swim televised is daily from 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. As kids' viewing habits continue to bypass linear television for on-demand streaming, the audience delivery of the Cartoon Network and other Cartoon Networks targeting children, such as Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, have been rapidly losing eyeballs. In July 2024, Cartoon Network averaged 74,000 viewers during its broadcast day, ranking 43rd overall.
Uh-huh.
Now back to Avi here, and again, this was a pretty quick article too. So let's see what Avi has to say in response to that. Since they've had some PC Orwellian products broadcast on the channel, it would be a loss if Cartoon Network were shut down to boot. We should at least hope for options for parental restrictions of content would extend to those woke items as well, because the LGBT content certainly isn't, quote, kid friendly, unquote. Regardless, it looks like Cartoon Network is losing audience, and for all we know, it could go off the air in the foreseeable future. If it does, then again, nothing will be missed. Well,
Yeah.
I do get, and it's kind of funny because this story it kind of does directly leads into the next story or the next thing we're gonna talk about here, because it's something I was even talking about with you, at the beginning here. But hold on, let me get back here for a quick moment. See if anything's going on. Yeah. So now I'm gonna go to Wikipedia here.
But yeah, it does seem like they're people are just binging whatever show they want that their kids like, instead of through streaming or whatever. It's like when parents used to put on a VCR or whatever or DVD of a particular show that their kid liked. Just put it on that. It doesn't stream through all of them. Just this is one they like. It'll keep them quiet.
Yeah, I mean, so here's like the upcoming here's the upcoming schedule over the next like 4 weeks here on the Adult Swim block, which airs on Saturday nights from so midnight to 3:30 a.m. Technically Sunday morning, but on the West Coast here, like on the DirecTV I have, I can get it from 9 to 12:30, 9 to 12:30 in the morning. But
And hello, good night, Smitty.
Michelangelo died. No, I don't think that's Michelangelo. At least not the one you're thinking of. There, good night, Spoon.
Well, it depends on which Michelangelo you're thinking of.
Okay, so here's what's going on with Toonami, and this also plays into, I think, again what we're just talking about as well. So, starting, of course, this past weekend. So, here, let's just go over real quickly what's going on here. So, throughout August, so going all the way back to the end of July, there they had the season 2 marathon of My Adventures with Superman back on the 27th, just the whole morning there, where they just went through, and then and they had a Demon Slayer.
I'm not sure whether I'd call that the whole morning, since it was
yeah. Then
12 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Next week on August 3rd, they had a Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, 7 episodes. That was in preparation for its premiere the following week on the 10th. On the 10th, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba aired a 1-hour premiere, followed by, of course, One Piece on at 1 a.m., 10 Pacific, 1:30, Naruto Shippuden, 1:30, Dragon Ball Z Kai, 2, Ninja Kamui at 2:30, and then at 3 o'clock. Basically the block right now is 12 to 3:30. And then this past Saturday on the 17th, the Rick and Morty anime debuted on at midnight, followed by, of course, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, One Piece, Naruto Shippuden, Dragon Ball Z Kai, Ninja Kamui, and My Hero Academia. Now you notice this schedule that I just mentioned is only through the end of the month here, and part of the reason being is because Naruto Shippuden, in terms of premiere episodes on Toonami. Now, grant the whole series already been aired online basically through their apps prior to this, but this, in terms of the Toonami premieres, Shippuden is almost done. Like it was basically the third of the last 3 episodes started up like this past Saturday, and then the second to the last episode and the final episode will be on the 31st. So Shippuden is winding down. Then you have Dragon Ball Z Kai on at 2, Ninja Kamui on at 2:30, and then My Hero Academia on at 3:30 on Sunday morning, 12:30 a.m. Sunday morning on the Pacific here.
No, I got a question. Is the Rick and Morty anime the same show as just the Rick and Morty show that would be
I'm not entirely sure about that. I don't know how. I think it might have some different canon. We can look this up. So, Rick and Morty, the anime, is an animated sci-fi science fiction sitcom series created and developed by Takashi Sano and produced by Studio Dean. So it might be different because it's somebody else. This is the anime, so it might be slightly different. I mean, it's going to be the same characters as the Rick and Morty, I would imagine, but let's see what Sola Entertainment and Telecom Animation Films for Adult Swim. The third series in the franchise, based on animated series of the same name by Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon, and between the 5th and 6th seasons of the main series, it stars Yohei Tadano as Rick Sanchez and Keisuke Chiba as Morty Smith, reprising their roles from the Japanese dub of the original series. None of the cast of the English version of the original series reprised their roles for its English dub. Well, and also, following the short films released from March 29, 2020 to November 12th, the series premiered on August 16th, 2024. So the plot is set between the 5th and 6th seasons. So
okay. So it sounds like it is something slightly different.
Yeah. It might be something like OVA type of thing. So, anyways, though, but yeah, that's and as I was saying though, with Naruto Shippuden winding down, here's how things are going to change in September 1. So on the 7th, on September 7th, Saturday night, Saturday night, September 7th, Sunday morning, September 8th. The schedule then goes Rick and Morty, the anime at midnight /9 Pacific, 9 p.m. Pacific. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba on at 12:30, 9:30 Pacific. Then One Piece, an hour of One Piece. So they're not bringing anything new in. They're just doubling up on the One Piece for the time being. One Piece anime for the time being. Then Dragon Ball Z Kai, and then Ninja Kamui, and then My Hero Academia. Now, here's something else too. On the notes here, so Rick and Morty, the anime episodes, are in Japanese with English subs. So it's subbed, not dubbed. So they're just doing the subtitled version, which they've been experimenting a little bit more with of late. Having on the main. And then Ninja Kamui, they're showing the reruns of the English dub version. before Ninja Kamui, when it was making its premiere, it would date the I believe the dub would debut at midnight, and then the sub would come on at about this time. So, and then My Hero Academia to round it out at 3:00. Then on the 14th. Now I don't know if it'll continue beyond this, but on the 14th, then you got basically Rick and Morty the anime, Demon Slayer. The only real change is My Hero Academia goes to an hour, like starting at 2:30 to 3:30, because I'm guessing that the reruns of Ninja Kamui, but as not a whole. Even though they've been promising, like certain things have been, or like for example, the movie Uzumaki. The movie Uzumaki was supposed to have debuted sometime the last 3 or 4 years, but hasn't. That's not that movie is something completely different. It's not even connected to Naruto. It's but you look over at some of the changes over the last few months here on Toonami here. They haven't really had a lot of like newer stuff come up. Some of it's come up and then gone away. So let's just look over. Yeah. I'm just going to go back to the start of the year. Might as well just go to the start of the year. So starting on January 6th, they still had, of course, the final chapters of Attack on Part 2, Naruto Ship. That was when it was running from 12 to 3 a.m. and IGPX. And then January 13th, Dr. Stone. Its second season came back. Demon Slayer commenced in. Well, okay, so I think what happened was the Attack on Titan was a marathon. That's why they only had like 4 shows that night. But then you had.
So this is a specific time slot. What, Sundays?
Well, yeah. Technically, you would say it would be technically by the way they're putting it here, Sunday morning, but it's like Saturday. So like from at the beginning of the year, they were going from 12 to 3 Sunday morning, which would be like 9 to midnight here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to put it in perspective that it's Sunday morning technically here on the East Coast.
Yeah, technically it's Sunday morning, but it's like Adult Swim. It's like because of course the late night hours are more for mature content. Right.
Yeah.
So then,
and it seems to be just a shall we say animes?
It's an anime themed block, correct?
Yeah. Okay, so just because it's not like
primarily anime theme, but as you've seen, they will put some Western animation in there too. My Adventures with Superman, for example.
Yeah.
So then on the 13th, you had 1 hour of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba as, of course, Attack on Titan came to an end, 12 to 1, and then at 1 Dr. Stone returned, continue there, and then you had One Piece on at 1:30, Naruto on at 2, and then Naruto Shippuden on at 2, and then IGPX. And then Licorice Recoil was added to the lineup on January 20th, and this present lineup went for approximately 3 weeks from January 20th, in which you had Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Dr. Stone, Licorice Recoil, One Piece, Naruto Shippuden, and IGBX. Then they extended the block, the following week to 3.5 hours. And as I was mentioning before, Ninja Kamui aired English dubbed at midnight, and then in Japanese and English subtitles at 3 a.m. So
Ninja Kamui, did it go kablooey?
Did what go kablooey?
Which you said Ninja Kamui. Kablooey? Kamui?
Yeah.
I was trying to make a rhyme and make a joke.
Rick, Kamui is, well, okay, actually, no, I'm thinking Kami. I'm thinking God is Kami in Japanese, but Kamui, I think, is something slightly different. But, so.
I was making a bad joke.
Yeah. but you had like Ninja Kamui added to the series, twice, start at the beginning of the block at midnight, 9 Pacific. So let me just see if they have stylized in all caps. All right, I'm just trying to see if they have. Okay, they don't have the translation for the word Kamui there, but anyways, and then the English sub would come on at 3 o'clock to finish out the. Actually, then starting on the 24th and going for about another month there. Dragon Ball Z. So IGPX they ended their run, and Dragon Ball Z Kai returned to the lineup. During this time, of course, they had some special programming on the 16th. Dragon Ball Z Kai Marathon subtitled episode of the subtitle, which was the later episode of Ninja Kamui, airs, and hour and a half earlier. One Piece and Naruto were preempted, and the block went from 12. That was on March 16th, and on March 23rd, block airs from 12 to 3:45 due to a 45-minute season finale to Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. Rest of the lineup thereafter is pushed ahead 15 minutes. Then you had Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead premiere on the block on March 30th, with everything else more or less staying the same. And a lot of these series are like what I call half. In other words, they're usually most of these newer series that they're bringing in are like the 12 to 13 episode series. They're not. It doesn't look like they're bringing, aside from maybe bringing back reruns of older shows like Dragon Ball Z Kai. They're not really bringing in anything that's like
of interest.
Well, not saying of any length, any real length, just quickie stuff that they can split into seasons. So then on April 20th, after Licorice Recoil completed its run on April 13th. So April 20th, One Piece was extended to an hour for the time being, with everything else pretty much staying the same. So Ninja Kamui was on at the English dub was on at midnight. Zone 100 Bucket List did 12:30, and then a full hour at 1:10 Pacific of One Piece. On the May 11th and 18th versions, you had the English dub Ninja Kamui Marathon. Usually when they do that, it means that the show is basically coming to an end in some form or another. In other words, it's completing its run. Then you got the premiere of season 2 of My Adventures. Well, it might have even been season. Well, no, did they actually? Was that before? No, that actually might have been season 1. In fact, when it first premiered back in May there. Yeah, I think that was season 1 because I think they just completed season 2 recently. But anyways, so I guess we'll figure it out as time goes on. So they premiered My Adventures of Superman with 2 episodes on at midnight, and that would become its home, with, of course, the rest of the lineup more or less staying the same. With, of course, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba getting an hour in there. Then starting in June, let's see. They brought Ninja Kamui. They brought the dub episodes of Ninja Kamui back, as well as reruns of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. These were the reruns. So basically, the only newer things that were really the only real premiere stuff was happening more at the front end of the block, from 12 to, well, if you want to call the One Piece and Shippuden stuff really premiere. They premiered at those times on Toonami on Cartoon Network, but in terms of One Piece and Naruto, they've been being shown on the websites for a while there. And then on July the 6th, let's see what
Bless me.
I'm just checking the Ninja. Oh, they extended the block to 4 a.m. to have Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba have 2 episodes, so hour of that, and that stayed like that for a while. It looks like. Well, I guess once Zalm 100 Bucket List of the Dead um, completed its run, um, then again One Piece went back to full hour. By this point in time, though, you don't really have a lot of. Okay, so that was season 2. That was a season 2 that premiered there, because I know there's been 2 seasons. So that's when season 2 premiered, and then you had a Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba marathon on August 3rd to basically welcome in the latest and 2 weeks. Let's see, a week ago this past Sunday on the 10th was the 1 hour premiere of the latest arc in the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba series, the Swordsmith Village arc, and then we get the Rick and Morty, and then so basically they're not really bringing in a whole lot of newer stuff. Like
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
They're basically packing the back end with some of the still very popular stuff that will still people will still stick around for.
Yeah, but it's also like 3:00 in the mornings or midnight, so that's probably not what. That's probably why they're not putting anything new.
Usually, Toonami was a pretty popular block for a while there, and and they, I mean, you saw they would have, like a lot of the series they bring on, like Licorice Recoil, Psalm 100 of, Bucket List of the Dead, they bring in a lot of stuff in. It's just that I think when you're seeing how they're programming it now, right? How they're programming it now, if they're not really, I mean, there were times they'd be premiering 2 or 3 shows at a time, right? But now they're just like, I was, I kind of knew they were coming. Shippuden was coming to an end. I knew there's a couple possibilities they could have done, a couple things they could have done, but it looks like they're just the fact that they're just putting a double dose of One Piece on again tells me they're not really trying to go out and find. I mean, they could. There's a couple series I know they could have probably brought back that people would have watched on there. Boruto. People might have came back to watch Boruto. The later seasons of Boruto. They were watching Boruto for a while. Boruto, Naruto Next Generation. Basically, is the animation. Albeit from what I've heard, a lot of people are not necessarily happy with that series, especially the creator of the original Naruto series. But that basically follows the generation that follows Naruto's. Basically, that's Naruto and his generation's kids that series is following.
Well, my question is, does Toonami have anime on at any other time on their channel?
Well, Cartoon Network does. Yeah, they Friday afternoons they have the Toonami Rewind, and that's pretty much a rerun block. I mean, the only real changes there. The only real changes there is like so from like 5 to 7 Eastern or 2 to 4 Pacific, when basically back to when it was originally on back in the 90s. The time slot there.
So is Toonami a channel, or is it a cartoon block? We'll say
it's a block. Toonami is a cartoon block. It originally started back in like the midnight, I think 97 actually, originally. Okay. And what they would do, they would mix in, and a lot of it was action adventure oriented programming, anime programming. both
Okay.
anime and Western animation. So
Okay.
you'd have like among like some of the Western animation stuff you'd have on there would include like Thundercats, um, Silverhawks,
Yeah.
the
Well, they're
the
probably going.
Filmation. Go ahead, Rick.
I'm just gonna say they're probably trying to go with what they believe is popular. I know we had a channel here in Canada called City TV, and back when Star Trek: The Next Generation was popular, they would put Star Trek: The Next Generation on every day for like an hour or two. And
Yeah, and I've
eh,
seen that. I've seen some stations try that. I know before they shut down their channel, Funimation, because Funimation had their own cable channel where they did that. And
yeah,
what you're talking about, there'd be times they'd only show 4 or 5 shows. Like I remember, like one show that was real popular was Oron High School Host Club, right? And and considering the number of titles they'd had, it, I mean, they put this show on like basically 6 times a day at least. You'd
yeah,
have 1 hour block in the morning. And a lot of times it was usually the same. Now granted, but what I'm getting at here, maybe partially because of the financial situation, but also just because
yeah,
of the changing viewer habits of the generations, right?
yeah.
People have been predicting that TV was about to go out of style here sometime in the next 10 to 15 years, anyways. Because streaming is really taking off. Idea of just being able to go on your computer and find what you want to watch.
Well, I would say TV is changing because a lot of people are watching these things like Netflix, and Disney Channel.
Streaming services as opposed to what they call legacy TV or legacy media.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what I mean is they're watching them on their TV. They're getting the apps
Yeah.
on their TV.
Oh yeah,
and
because
they're watching.
I have on my TV here. I've got a Fire Stick, and so I'll
Yeah,
sometimes watch stuff on Pluto and Tubi and all that.
yeah. So
Along with
it's
direct.
it's how we're watching, what we're watching, how we're watching our TV is different. Or I'm not sure how you want to put it, but I think you get what I mean. It's
Yeah,
we're
what you're talking about is people are binge watching specific shows.
yeah. Well,
Or
not even
binge
that. Well,
watching.
sometimes binge watching. Sometimes it's just they're going to the streaming. I guess the streaming services on their TV instead of quote unquote the cable channels.
Right.
You
Well, yeah.
know, but
Well,
they're still using their TV to do it.
mhm.
Because watching it on that nice big screen instead of your computer screen is a lot better. Let's admit that.
Yeah.
Who really wants to watch a show on their 21-inch computer screen?
Yeah.
When you can
Well,
watch
I
it
get what
on.
you're saying, because the TV screen's a lot bigger, I watch a lot of stuff though on computer though. So
Yeah,
uh,
I do too. But like when I get my own place and I get set up and I get my 60-inch, my 50 to 60-inch TV, I'm going to be watching stuff, most of my stuff on that again,
mhm.
instead of this, I'll be watching my YouTube on that, although, I'm the only one that gets to watch it, I won't have to compete with my mom or anything to watch anything on it. So it's like,
But
you know,
my point being is this,
yeah,
and it goes back to the article we did previously too, just before the Toonami article, where
yeah,
where basically Cartoon Network's not really going out trying to get new properties. There's a number of properties that are popular right now that they could get, like Spy Family for one. Spy Family is real popular. Okay, Jujutsu Kaisen is another one. These are two that would be perfect. That I think would be good fits for Toonami, but yet they're not going after them. They're not. And
Yeah.
I think Spy Family is actually being dubbed by the Dallas crew.
And no, I did not hit the lottery recently. Good night, Spoon. All my stuff that I had in my apartment is in storage. Before my mom died, well, a couple years ago, we bought on like Black Friday or one of the special days where things are discounted in price. We bought like a 50-inch or 60-inch TV that was in our living room. We both had, she had a 32 and I had like my 40 something inch in my room for my monitor.
But what basically going back to my point, I think the writing is pretty much on the wall that that I think like Warner Brothers Discovery is in a bit of trouble, and Cartoon Network as a whole may not be around a whole lot longer. No, nor will any of its like sub channels like Boomerang, because basically, when you're going to see, I think the idea of oversaturating with one or two program, in other words, where you have one or two programs, whereas your time they're just trying to draw in viewers by just simply playing all the popular stuff ad nauseum.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't thinking it quite at nauseum, but
I would. I've seen some of these channels. Funimation did it. Okay.
Yeah. Like before my mom died, there was a channel that we got in via antenna. It would play like 5 or 6 episodes or more of like Walker a day, right in a row, and then it would go on and play another show, 5 or 6 episodes, and another, and it just repeat. It's that every day. You'd like go through a season of Walker in a week.
Yeah.
And would I like it?
Now the thing here's the thing too. On some of these streaming services like Pluto and Tubi, they have specific channels specifically for specific
that
programs. They're so
yeah.
Where
yes, I would like to hit the lottery, but the problem is I don't play the lottery at this time. Good night, Spoon. So, as much as I'd like to hit it, I can't because I don't play it.
But anyways, as I said though, I think this is a lot of commentators are would be in agreement where a lot of these particular legacy media channels are going to start dying out here, and I think you see the writing on the wall when you see like in the case with Toonami, as I said, they're not really going after newer programming. They they have like, so 12 to 3:30. That's 7 time slots right there. That's 7 different shows, and you cannot tell me that there's only 1 or 2 coming out a year, or 1 or 2 coming out a season that people would be interested. I know there's some people have said, if anything, one of the complaints has been of late is, if anything, there's been too many releases of animes, where it's too many animes are getting released, So I mean,
the question,
and I know of some others that were never completely finished. Like Boruto, they could grab the Boruto series and show that more. They could bring Black Clover back and run the entire series. They kind of cut off at a certain point and then never brought it back to finish the series. That one was a pretty good series. There's also like Kaizen is very popular. Yet my point is, Rick. My point is here, Rick, is that they're not doing this. They're not going after these titles to bring newer titles in, which tells me that they see the writing on the wall. I don't think they believe that they don't believe that it's going to be worth it, because at the end of the day, I think they even know they're going to crash and burn.
Yeah, well, that's very possible. The question is, are these ones that you mentioned, are they subbed or dubbed at all? the thing is, maybe they just need to pay.
I know for a fact that Spy Family is dubbed because I've heard that it's dubbed. Actually, hey, I should check
Yeah,
that.
but
At least,
my point more is, if you're going to bring all these animes over for people to watch, you need to make sure they're most likely in English. You need to most likely make sure they're dubbed, so people can
yeah,
understand.
I think the two titles, Jujutsu Kaisen
Yeah,
and Spy Family, I believe, are dubbed. Let's see,
and what you would probably need to do is create a channel just for them. Actually, I think that would be better. Somebody coming along creating a channel just for them.
well, there are some anime specific. There's even on Pluto and Tubi, they have anime sections where they
Yeah, I know that. I've seen them. I plan to watch a lot of it once I get my
yeah.
setup back going. But no, what I mean is, you could probably create a cable channel where you play this, and with commercials, and you make money at it.
Retro Crush does a lot of it with the older
Yeah,
yeah. So at least according to the site I use, they have the dubbed versions of the shows. So basically they're dubbed. I mean, a lot of these shows are dubbed. It's just for whatever reason, Toonami's just not going after them. I know
yeah.
that.
Maybe they just can't get the license for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I wouldn't know why, unless unless I just because you know well no they have no the companies have the okay the cut like Funimation has the license for I think Funimation I know Funimation has the license for Spy Family, that much I'm pretty sure of.
Yeah, well, what I mean is get the license to play them on their channel. Make some sort of deal. Maybe they're not willing to pay the amount of money that these companies want for, be able to play.
Well,
That's what I mean by that.
that's a good point. Well, is it that they're choosing not because they don't want to pay the money to air them, or is it that they can't?
Yeah, there's lots of.
That's kind of where I'm going with it as well. It's like, you know, maybe they can't maybe they can't, you know,
Get a deal
pay
for.
for it because they're running in the red.
Yeah, or the companies just won't sell it to them. Like they want to. They figure they want too much money for them. That's even like here in the
Well, no, because like the two
state
that I'm
of
talking
Canada.
about are already dubbed. Okay,
Yeah,
so
well, I'm not.
all Toonami has to do is negotiate the broadcasting rights. Okay,
Yeah, that's what
the
I
shows
mean.
are already dubbed. Okay,
That's what I mean.
Crunchyroll has Crunchyroll has its own channel, in fact, and
Yeah,
and actually Spy Family is on Crunchyroll. Okay,
and maybe because it's on Crunchyroll, they don't want it to allow Toonami to have it, so they're not willing to
uh,
rent it, for lack of a
but
better.
some of those other shows are also on Crunchyroll as well. I mean,
Yeah, well, it depends on whether they're coming from Crunchyroll originally or somewhere else. Who they
yeah,
have to make the
I'm
deal
sure.
with
I'm
for.
sure if Metal was here because he's as much into the anime as I am. He probably
He might know a
he
lot.
probably would
He
have
got,
more to say about it than I could. I'm
yeah,
speculating
yeah.
based on my observations. So
Yeah, all I'm talking is about is from the financial end, and that's all I can speculate on. The financial end. In some way, shape, or form that they're not allowed. They can't get the broadcast license, and that's what I meant by license. The they can't
you can't
purchase
get the
the
broadcast license for whatever
or the
reason.
broadcast rights, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
Um, or they're not willing to pay what the people want for the broadcast rights. That's
Yeah.
maybe they're wanting,
Well, I think this is
$1
also the
billion
problem.
per. Maybe they're wanting $1 billion per
Okay,
episode.
but here's something else that you have to take into consideration too.
Yeah.
Like, so so the most part on the anime side of it, okay. So you have Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, which is basically the distribution rights is being handled by Bang Zoom. The distribution and recording rights are being handled by Bang Zoom. Okay, out here in LA. Then you have One Piece, One Piece is from Crunchyroll, formerly through Funimation. Naruto Shippuden was through Viz Media out here in LA, Studiopolis. Dragon Ball Z Kai, Crunchyroll. So just simply saying that, Crunchyroll is just being stingy and maybe they don't want to let some of the other, part of it too is a little because Crunchyroll is lending out. Now, granted, the older stuff, it's the older stuff that's already been aired. Granted that, but you basically have mostly the stuff that's dubbed either through Bang Zoom or what was formerly known as Funimation, still being put on Toonami. But
yeah.
Anyways, I think we beat that horse dead.
Yeah. Good night's was asking whether I want to hit the water with a bare knuckles or a baseball bat. I don't know.
Well, we're already past the hour mark. We already went for we spent more time on this than I really actually intended to spend on it because but we got into a decently good debate there in terms of because even not even debate. It's just again my ultimate point here is that it's a telling sign when you see that they're not going after new titles, and they could also try to even though Sentai also has its own channel that uses High Dive to do a lot of their stuff, they still would put out on Toonami some of the stuff like Food Wars, So I mean, they could, but maybe because of the changing landscape of the television scene or what have you. But the fact that they're not able for whatever reason to get new titles is a telling sign of something. So anyway,
the question is what that sign is or what's it telling us.
Let's move on, and I'm going to try to get through this stuff real quickly. So now we're going to move on to the wrestling wrap up here. So going back to Thursday night on TNA, of course, TNA's Impact as they continue to prepare for their Emergence pay-per-view coming up a week from this Friday on the 30th. So I go grab that to kind of recap what happened on last Thursday's Impact.
Did it have an impact on you?
So the night opened up with the first of two Ultimate X qualifying matches for the Ultimate X match for the TNA X Division title coming up at Emergence a week from this Friday. NXT's Riley Osborne defeated Chris Bay and John Skyler in a three-way match. Then in a renewal of their rivalry, Giselle Shaw defeated Tasha Steelz. Moose defeated Mike Santana after Mike Santana had been attacked in the back earlier in the evening. But as and he'd have the rest of his faction out with him, the System. As they were about to beat down Santana furthermore after the match, Joe Hendry came out and basically announced that the System had some enemies that were looking for him. The two of them in the ring and the Hardys. And then the other Ultimate X qualifying match, three-way match on the night, Jason Hotch defeated Ace Austin and Rich Swann. And then the main event saw Nick Nemeth and Josh Alexander go to a time limit draw in a match for the TNA World title held currently by Nick Nemeth. So that's all that happened on there. Now moving ahead to Saturday night and Collision, AEW's Collision. Actually, we'll move to Friday night first. Friday night SmackDown, as WWE is building towards its show a week from Friday. Battle in Berlin. The Battle in Berlin. They work towards that show on this past Friday's SmackDown. As soon as I find it.
SmackDown.
On this Friday SmackDown, coming to everybody from the Kia Center in Orlando, Florida. The night opened up with Carmelo Hayes defeating Andrade, Blair Davenport defeating Naomi, Kevin Owens defeating Grayson Waller in a match that saw possible further friction between Waller and his tag team partner Austin Theory and the team of A-Town Down Under. In a number one contendership, in the finals of the number one contenders match for the WWE tag titles, the Street Profits of Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford defeated the team of DIY of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, which I believe earns the Street Profits a title shot, possibly coming up at Battle of Berlin. And that's all that happened on the main show. There were a bunch of dark matches. We won't go into that. But now moving ahead to Saturday to Collision, as of course as AEW prepares for its All In pay-per-view coming up on Wembley this Sunday, the 25th. So on this past Saturday's Collision, the night opened up with Britt Baker defeating Harley Cameron, hoping to gain some momentum heading into her match with Mercedes Moné in her match for the TBS title, only for Moné to send her muscle in, Camille, former NWA World Women's Champion, to beat down Baker, to try to slow her momentum down. The next match saw in a match the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. At 55 years old, Dustin Rhodes becomes a double champion as he teamed with Sammy Guevara to defeat Mike Bennett and Matt Taven of the Undisputed Kingdom to become the new Ring of Honor World Tag Team champions. Hologram continues his winning streak, defeating the technical expert Angelico. Jack Perry in a non-title match, TNT champion Jack Perry defeats Danny O'Ryan in a little over a minute. After the match, of course, in a matter of symbolism, he buried the old TNT title to showcase a new one that he had made for himself. In preparation for his upcoming match on this week's Dynamite against Kazuchika Okada for the Continental title, Claudio Castagnoli defeated Leo Rush. In just over 30 seconds, Mariah May defeated London Dior in preparation for her upcoming Women's World Title match at All In. And the main event saw FTR and the Acclaimed go to a time limit draw in a number one contendership match for the AEW World Tag Team titles, for Tony Khan to come out and to give them both the title shot against the Young Bucks at All In. So that match set up a triple threat match for a three-way match for All In for the AEW World Tag Title, which the Young Bucks will be defending against FTR and the Acclaim, both former champions in their own right. And finally, I'm going to talk a little. Well, before we do get into this day in each history, on tonight's let me guess
WWE.
I just realized they wouldn't have it up yet because it hadn't even premiered yet. But on tonight's Raw, Monday Night Raw, as I find it, as I grab that to talk about what's scheduled for tonight's Raw as they continue to build towards the Battle in Berlin event, PLE. Coming to the nation from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, from the Amaret Bank Arena in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Ivy Nile will be taking on Maxine Dupree in a match for the WWE Women's Tag Team title, a triple threat match. The current champions in the Unholy Union of Isla Dawn and Alba Fire take on the duo from Damage Control of Kairi Sane and Io Sky, and the Pure Fusion Collective duo of Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Sheamus takes on Pete Dunne, and in a six-man tag match, the New Day of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods teams with Odyssey Jones to take on the Final Testament trio of Akam, Razor, and Karrion Kross. So that's all I got for you in the wrestling wrap-up. Now, with today being Monday, August the 19th, 2024, let's take a look back at this day. Neat history. History! 1998, 2018, and 1984. All right, so first off, we're going to head back to 1984, 40 years ago today. As on this date, 40 years ago today, premiering on Nippon TV, Tezuka Productions' Boggy, the Monster of Mighty Nature. The film premiered on Nippon TV on this date back in 1980. 40 years ago today, the anime film, the Tezuka Productions anime film, Boggy, the Monster of Mighty Nature, premiered on Nippon Television back in 1984. So, moving along to Rick, Good Night Spoon's asking if everything's okay.
Yeah, I gave him a thumbs up. Hopefully he realized that was for him. Yeah, everything's okay. I was muted for a bit because you were talking and I was talking to my cousin and didn't want that to interfere with you going over the Nietzsche news and the wrestling wrap up.
What do you think about the Olympic breakdancing controversy? I haven't really been paying attention to it myself.
Me neither.
So I have nothing to say about it. So, anyways, moving on to the next piece of Nietzsche history here, or moving ahead to 1998, which was 26 years ago today. On this date, 26 years ago today. All right. This date, 26 years ago today, the 15th and final issue of Major Bummer from DC Comics went on sale on this date back in 1998, 26 years ago today. The story was Saving Time, written by John Arcudi, penciled by Doug Mahnke. Tom Nguyen did the inking. lettering done by Willie Schubert, and then Carla Feeney did the coloring. So, 15th and final issue of Major Bummer from DC Comics went on sale on this date back in 1998. And finally, on this date 5 years ago today, in 2019, let me bring that up here. On this date, 2019, WWE held its Monday Night Raw event from the XL Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. Let's see, the main event saw Seth Rollins team with Braun Strowman to capture the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships from the OC of Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, who had AJ Styles in his corner. Let's see. And so there were two King of the Ring first round matches for King of the Ring 2019. Cedric Alexander defeated Sami Zayn to advance in the tournament, and Samoa Joe defeated Cesaro. Both those guys that I just mentioned were, by the way, are now in AEW, by the way. And then Braun Strowman had actually gotten a shot at AJ Styles' United States Championship earlier in the night, losing that by a DQ. Of course, Styles retained the title, which probably led up to the main event match. So that's all I got for you guys tonight in terms of that. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Went a little longer than expected. But with that, so before we head out, Rick, would you like to do an outro?
I'll just put in a link to my channel for those that are here that might not know about it. Check me out. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and watch as much as you can to get my watch time up, because I'd like to eventually be able to monetize my channel.
All right. So with that being said, I thank everyone for being here. We'll be back here tomorrow night with more Niche News. And, of course, this Friday, I'll have Shadowhawk from, Devil Flyer on with me this Friday. We look back to March of 1940. We'll be looking at books that went on sale at that point in time. This week, we'll be focusing in on Fox Feature Syndicate. Of course, we'll be looking at some of the features we'll be looking at. Will include, of course, Blue Beetle, Dynamo, Thor. That's Fox's Thor, not to be confused with Marvel's Thor. Those are the three we'll most likely hit, and then time permitting, maybe even Stardust and Patty O'Day. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.